Welcome back, health enthusiasts. You think you know how to store your food? Think again. Today we're diving headfirst into the icebox and exposing 12 foods you should never, and I mean never, chill. We're talking flavor disasters, texture nightmares, a culinary crime happening right there in your fridge. Get ready to learn, because by the end of this video, you'll be a fridge-organizing, flavor-saving machine. Number 1. Tomatoes. The standard rule is to keep tomatoes out of the refrigerator. It all comes down to science. Tomatoes contain an enzyme that reacts to cold temperatures, causing the cell membranes to break down and leaving you with a piece of fruit that's mushy and mealy. You're essentially zapping flavor and texture from a tomato when you refrigerate it. Also, tomatoes very quickly take on odors from other foods in the refrigerator, which can further degrade their quality and taste. Whether you purchase a ripe or unripe tomato, you should store it at room temperature. Tomatoes are most flavorful at peak ripeness, and when stored at room temperature. Number 2. Bananas. Bananas grow in hot climates, so they are unused to the cold. If they're kept at a cold temperature, the enzymes that enable them to ripen are inhibited. And as those enzymes become inactive, other enzymes operate more efficiently. Some cause cell damage, while others, browning enzymes, cause the skin to blacken. The desired storage temperature for bananas is 56 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. That means that bananas are best stored at room temperature. So your countertop really is the right place for them. After all, have you ever seen bananas stored in the fridge at the supermarket? I didn't think so. Number 3. Potatoes. Listen, I love a good potato, but chilling them in the fridge is a recipe for disaster. Raw potatoes have lots of starches, and the cold temperatures can turn the starches into sugars. This can make your potatoes turn sweeter and darker during cooking, giving you a gritty texture and bland flavor. Also, cold temperatures increase the amounts of reducing sugars and make them more carcinogenic when fried or roasted. They should also not be frozen, as they will become mushy and brown after defrosting. Store them in a cool, dark place, not the fridge. Number 4. Onions. Onion is known to have a bad smell and contains sulfur, which causes tears while chopping. Keeping chopped onion in the refrigerator can cause bacteria to grow in it. There are pathogenic bacteria in the environment, due to which onion becomes oxidized, and the onion will get spoiled. Consuming this onion can cause stomach issues and can even make you feel sick. Not just that, but the nutrients present in onions also are lost when kept for long in a refrigerator. The onion juice that comes in your hand as you cut an onion comes in contact with air, which can cause bacteria to grow in the onion. That's why it is forbidden to keep cut onions in the refrigerator. When a whole onion is chilled, the cold, humid temperatures in a refrigerator convert the starch to sugars, and onions tend to become soft or soggy a lot faster. Plus, as you probably already know, they also skunk up your fridge and make everything smell or taste like onions. Number 5. Garlic. Garlic is a flavor powerhouse, but the fridge turns it into a sprouting nightmare. The cold and humidity encourage premature sprouting, ruining its taste. Store it in a cool, dry place for maximum flavor. In fact, garlic heads and unpeeled cloves do best in about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take, in a location where air is allowed to circulate. This means avoiding placing garlic in reusable containers or in plastic bags, where moisture can get trapped and cause the garlic to turn. Garlic stored in the fridge may taste different even if you manage to get to it before it starts sprouting green stems. It can turn bitter from the change in temperature and ultimately alter the flavor of the garlic. Number 6. Avocados. Trying to ripen an avocado in the fridge is like waiting for paint to dry in a rainstorm. The refrigerator will slow avocados in the ripening process, so unless you're stacked with too many avocados for your weekly use, keep them out at room temperature. The cold temperature also hardens the texture of a ripe avocado, which might not be ideal for some when it comes to mealtime. Number 7. Honey. Have you ever thought about storing honey in the fridge? Keeping honey in the fridge will only increase the speed of crystallization, turning your honey from liquid into a thick, dough-like sludge. Honey will crystallize in the hive if the temperature goes below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and honey will crystallize in your containers if you have a cold cupboard cabinet. The best way to store honey is at room temperature, in your pantry, or on a kitchen shelf, but out of direct sunlight. Number 8. Bread. As bread begins to go bad or get stale, its starch molecules change. That's why it dries out, gets crumbly, and changes taste. Starch is normally crystalline in form, but when it's turned into dough and baked into bread, that crystalline structure breaks down. However, as soon as a loaf is finished baking and begins to cool, the starch inside begins to recrystallize and harden back into its original shape. And as this happens, your bread also hardens and slowly goes stale. When you refrigerate bread, the cold and not quite freezing temperature speeds this whole process up. Your fridge's cool environment causes crystallization to happen rapidly, which leaves you with a dried-out hard loaf in no time at all. So when you refrigerate your bread, you're basically hitting fast forward on its shelf life. Number 9. Coffee. Coffee is sacred and the fridge is its enemy. Coffee has a bit of a love and hate relationship with moisture. Coffee attracts moisture, but moisture is very bad for your coffee. The problem isn't that there's moisture in your fridge or freezer. It's the change in temperature the coffee experiences going into and out of the fridge, which results in a buildup condensation. This is the moisture that the coffee hates so much and that can diminish the flavor. Number 10. Basil. Basil is a tropical herb and is highly susceptible to cold temperatures. This is due to the composition of its cell membrane, which contains a rich amount of oils and fats. When basil is exposed to cooler temperatures, these oils and fats cause damage to the leaf tissues. Cold storage at the grocery store accelerates this process. That's why it's not recommended to store basil in the refrigerator. Number 11. Chocolate. Although you might think storing chocolate in the fridge only alters its texture, refrigerating chocolate can actually impact its taste as well. As cocoa butter absorbs flavors and odors, you could find yourself munching on a chocolate bar which tastes like last night's leftovers. Cold temperatures also prevent your chocolate bar from releasing more subtle flavors, meaning you don't quite get all the nuanced notes of cocoa. Number 12. Olive oil. Olive oil should not be stored next to the stove as this exposes the oil to consistent heat. It is also not recommended to store oil in the refrigerator because condensation within the bottle may lead to off flavors. Store your oil in a cool, dark cabinet or pantry. The optimal storage temperature for olive oil is 60 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Exposure to warmer temperatures causes unpleasant flavors to develop in the olive oil. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, hit that like button and subscribe for more up-to-date health advice. Remember, proper food storage is crucial for maximizing flavor and minimizing waste. Now go forth and conquer your kitchens. No more culinary crimes, only delicious, properly stored food from now on.